Wi-Fi 7, what is it? Do you need it? And should you spend your money on it? Let's talk about it. When you buy the U7 Pro, it'll come in this box. On the bottom, you'll have all your serial information as well as MAC address and any other information you might want about this particular unit. If we take a look, we have a little PO tab that we can open the device just like this. It folds up, there's a QR code right here at the top. You can use that to scan your things. This opens up just like that. And we can pull the unit out, and we can just set aside this box for now. We have nice paper packaging. It is covered in pretty much one of the few pieces of plastic. The device itself is right on top, but we'll get to that in just a moment. There's a little piece of foam in there you can take out. You get this little level so that the U, if you're going to hang it on the wall like this, can be level. However, if it's going to be in the ceiling, it's not going to make that much of a difference what angle you have it at. Since a level really only operates this way, it's not really going to work that way, but it will work this way. Although if it's on the ceiling, you're at the mercy of whatever the ceiling is. Okay, we have their new wall mount system here. It's just a ton of different stuff. They have a wall mount, bar and ceiling mount, a round junction box for the US, square junction box, single gain outlet, and a round junction box in the European outlet. Now what those are referring to is that there are letters next to each of these, and there are letter holes all over the place, and you can just pick whatever solution is right for you. The interesting thing about this is that the AC Pro, the Wi-Fi 5 unit, will work with these. You can see that these sort of match their alignment with the holes here. Here we go. We have tabs, and so if you were to put this on like this, yeah, like that, there you go. It all works. However, the interesting thing is if you try and go the other way around, this is the one with the old mount system. I found that this doesn't quite work well. It's kind of stiff, and I don't know if these holes are supposed to align with these pieces right here, but it feels very stiff, and you might find it works, but I wouldn't necessarily trust it, although it does work. So if you wanted to save yourself some time and put these on your existing mount, you could. I definitely would recommend these ones because of this lip when it sits off the wall. Although these also sit off the wall, this one just seems a lot nicer to work with. Plus, these get very hot, hotter than these ones did, and having a metal back to disperse the heat a little bit, even though there's going to be an air gap, might protect whatever you have it mounted to a little better. If you're going to mount these to a drop ceiling, this goes on the top of your drop ceiling. This mounts on the bottom of your drop ceiling in between, and they have screw kits for that, and that gets sandwiched in between. You also have drywall, this new mounting system here that works well with the framework that holds up your drop ceiling. And then you have these little screws, which presumably these are for the electrical box, outlets, the 1 gain, 2 gain, or whatever, probably would fit into there. You get some hex wrenches. I forget what they'll call. But you got those, and that's pretty much it. The 3 mounting screws, 4 mounting screws, including the gain and then a little toolkit. I personally have mounted quite a few of these. After all, there's a mountain behind me, and I have a lot more to mount. Mounting these in multiple surfaces. I've done it on drywall. I've hung it in the ceiling. We've screwed into cinder block. I haven't had any issues with any of those situations for mounting these. One thing that this does cosmetically is it has this, so if you need to run the wire out the back, that should talk about the device too, but we'll start with this. So yeah, you can remove this little piece of plastic. Otherwise, this will align so that your wire can run straight up. Ideally, you put your hole in your ceiling or wherever to align here, so it's all nice and hidden away. If you can manage to do that. One thing is that this is 2.5 gigabit a second PoE, and you will definitely want a PoE switch, especially if you're going to do a lot of them. You can always get a PoE injector, but hey, if you're getting these, you probably have a switch that can do PoE. If not, a PoE injector will work just fine. One thing you'll notice from older models, even though this has the Pro moniker and so does this, you don't get a secondary Ethernet jack here, so you can't pass through anything. There's also no USB port. I never did figure out. I think that it was just for manual firmware updating, but since you're using these with the network app that Unifi has, you can just update it over the network, and that's great because you don't have to physically go to it to manipulate it in any particular way. Your reset button is here on the other side where the Ethernet jack would be. And since it is 2.5 gig, because Wi-Fi 7, 6 gigahertz has the potential to go faster than standard gigabit, you can use that. Although in practice, your real world speeds might not matter. Quite frankly, anyone who's able to access anything over Wi-Fi at gigabit speed, you're clearly doing something amazing. Anyway, that has been the unboxing portion of this video. It's heavier than previous models, and it has more of a texture. But what can I say other than here it is in my hands? You can take a look. It's an access point. I think what we'll do next is we'll take a look at it mounted somewhere, and we'll kind of get a look of its performance, and then we'll check it out in the console to see how you kind of adopt it and everything. It's the same as anything else. Spoiler alert. All right, see you in the next segment. So here we are in the field. I got this suit to protect me from all the ceiling dust and debris. It really does help. Believe me on that. We're going to demonstrate a little bit about the swapping out of the old access point with the new one, as well as upgrading the mounting hardware that it's attached to in the ceiling. So we'll go over that now. We're going to start by removing the old access point. This can be a bit tricky depending on how long they've been up here. Mostly you just have to twist. Sometimes that doesn't always work. Depending on how much dust you have with cable, you might need eye protection. Disconnect your access point and you can set it down somewhere. For some reason this access point was mounted using wood screws, it looks like. So we're going to fix that. So we'll remove the wood screws and then take down the tile. Alright, we got the tile down, so now we can open our box here, and we can put in the new mounting bracket. So for this, we can see we have our center hole and some other holes here that we can screw into. We're going to have to make a new hole, because as you can see, these are going to line up with the A on each side, these A's right here. And then you usually got your two holes. So we're going to need our hole to be somewhere in here as opposed to right here. So we'll drill that out now. I'm going to align these with the existing holes so we don't have to fuss with making too many new ones. I'm going to mark my spot. I'm going to do it probably right around here. Okay. I'm going to start on the front so that the blowout is on the back, although you won't really be seeing this anyway. It's still a nice touch. There we go. Dust that off, clean it up later. There you go. So the wire will come up right through there. We also have our back bracket. Use your nuts. Alright, so we don't need to be super tight, but it's not going to go anywhere. Let's see, I'm wiggling it around. Now it's time to put this back up in the ceiling. These notches are going to fit in these notches and everything, so you kind of just have to rotate it and make it work. There we go. She'll flash a little bit, and then when it's a solid blue, you've got it. It's been detected and it's functioning. The active point has turned blue. It's just all ready to go. So when you plug in the U7 Pro, it will show up in your network console here. You will need to click Adopt. Once the device is adopted, we can click on it and we can see more information about it. One such bit of information is its model name, MAC address, IP address, and so forth. We can see the different radios, 2.4, 5, and 6. See the device it's connected to, any AP groups that it's in. Over here on the Insights tab, it'll tell us how much each channel is being utilized, if you want to. We can give this a name, so say spare. We can set the channel for each of them and the width as well as the transmit power. For 5 gigahertz, you do have the ability to use DFS channels. Those are interesting. You can look them up to see more about them, but they are available and give you more options. If you have the space, you can even use the 240 for the channel width. And of course, the 6 gigahertz range has 320 width channel width there for you, and you have a lot to select from. Let's say we want to set the IP address manually. We can do that here. We can manage SNMP, or we can turn on and off the LED, move it to a new site, like migrate, and we can remove it from our adopter. So this will unadopt it, disable it, we start locate it. Locate it will flash the light. When you click to save your changes, it'll go back into a getting ready state. Then once it finishes, it'll reflect the changes that you just made. And now your device is ready to be used and is broadcasting on each of the specified channels. So at the end of the day, if you decide to go with the latest and greatest Wi-Fi standard, I don't think you'd be that disappointed. It offers so much more flexibility, so many more channel widths that you can have access to. That will allow you to have more access points in the same space without having them stop on each other. And that's great for performance. And your users might not notice the difference, or they may not care at all, but you'll be doing them a favor whether they know it or not. And if you just want to get it for yourself, then that's great. And as always, hit that like button, get subscribed, and leave a comment down below if you have anything to say. We'll be happy to hear from you. Till next time.